Being in Kyoto meant we were close to a couple places, and one of them was Osaka. So, with our JR line passes, we hopped aboard the Shinkansen and decided to take the bullet train down to this amazing town. With the promise of good food, drinks, and amazing friendly people to meet, it was time to invade Osaka and begin our day with the search for a Jiggly cheesecake. Rikuro Ojisan is a very famous bakery that's famous for one thing in general, and that is Jiggly cheesecakes. And the thing about this place that's really awesome is that you can watch them make them from start to finish. They do it all right in front of you, and they make tons of cakes daily, from mixing the batter, to prepping the pans with paper, to even dumping the raisins inside of the pans as well. I like the raisioning process. They put the batter in front of you, and then of course they cook them in front of you as well. And if you're a good boy, this lady might even reveal one to you and offer some service with a bit of a wiggle and a jiggle. Very nice. The final step is to brand them all with the Rikuro Ojisan branding iron, I guess? It's a really cute little last touch that they do, and there's something so satisfying about watching those brands go on. And since it was October, of course, this was Halloween themed. But enough talking about the cake, it was time to open it, shake it around, and then of course, eat the thing. So with my fork, I sliced out a nice portion and ate a good quarter of the cheesecake on my own. It's not like your typical cheesecake, it tastes very much like eggs to be honest, but either way, I think it was pretty good. Definitely worth trying if you're in Osaka. And this pigeon was going crazy. But of course it was time to find a Pokemon Center because this one in Osaka was evidently pretty cool. And yeah, once I went inside, it was pretty cool. This place was huge. And when you first come in, you're greeted by the 3 legendary birds from the original Pokemon games. It's pretty much all the standard fare of stuff. If you go to any Pokemon Center, you're gonna find a lot of the same plushies and toys and figures and phone cases and stickers and all kinds of fun stuff. But here at the Osaka one, there is some exclusive merchandise. You see, there's something called the Billiken Man, or the Billiken Man, I don't know how it's pronounced. Strangely enough, it has Western origins, but the thing is really weird looking, and the Japanese have adopted it as like sort of an idol. They had these crazy Pikachus that were all gold to look like a Billiken, and this one here was actually like $4,000, I think? It's insane. But the big thing at the time was all this themed merchandise of Pokemon in, I guess, rock bands? There was all different types, and it's pretty interesting to see the different selections of Pokemon, like poison ones for like grunge metal and stuff like that. I don't know, it was really neat and it was really cute. They even had this pretty cool guitar here too, and that guitar actually led me to making a friend. But that's a whole other story. So I'm at the Pokemon Center Osaka DX, which is the deluxe Pokemon Center here in Osaka. It's pretty amazing. The store is huge and there's lots of stuff that you can waste money on. One such thing are these really cool little miniature art prints, and on the back it tells you there's a bunch of different ones you can get. The idea is that I want to get my very favorite Pokemon for very many years, Mewtwo, and he looks completely badass on these. They're really cool. There's a lot of holo foil, so I got 3 of them, and they're $3 a piece, so let's open them up and see who we get. Pikachu. Second, let's get our fingers crossed for a Wartortle. If this is Pikachu again, I'm going to stab myself. I will commit Sudoku. It's just Ninetales. It's nice, it's pretty, but it's not a Wartortle. Not quite Mewtwo. So this is the last one. And if we're lucky, as my friend I made in the Pokemon Center said, I will get Mewtwo, but I'm not lucky. Alright, ready? And Mewtwo. Oh, it's friggin' Mew! Why is it Mew? That's the opposite of Mewtwo. You want one? Just talking to people here. Alright, so Moltres back there made it so hot that I had to take off my jacket because I'm feeling the heat. The heat is on. We got 2 more of these things, and if I don't get Mewtwo, I'm gonna lose my mind. So let's open them up. Oh, this one's pretty cool. I'm not even mad that this isn't Mewtwo. Are you? That's actually a good one. I like that a lot. And this is it. This is the last shot. I don't think Mewtwo's in there if he's not in here, because I chose this one especially. She knows. Here comes Mewtwo. Here he comes. check out Mewtwo. Whatever. This is Lapras. There's a little Magikarp in the background. Can you see him? At the end of the day, I got like 6 pieces of gum now, so what are you gonna do? You got gum, you got good friends. It's a good day, if you ask me. There he is. My man. Mewtwo. Hell yeah. Let's get my poke. That's the worst Pokemon. Let's find him. Where's Licky Licky? There's Licking Tongue. I like this. But you know what's even better? That's not Licky Licky. They don't have Licky Licky. There he is. There's my good boy. Yeah, boy. What you know about Licky Licky? So that was enough time to kill because we were actually at this one specifically because of a very particular part of this Pokemon Center. And that was that there's actually a Pokemon Cafe here. And at this one, it was a lot easier to book an appointment than it would have been back in Tokyo. So while we were here, we had to check this out. Of course, the place is just covered in merch for you to buy, and there is specific Pokemon Cafe merch that's only available here. I think you get like an hour or 2 window to actually stay there, but you can go there, spend tons of money on the food and drinks because they are very overpriced, and get a bit of fan service while you're there in the form of placemats and merchandise and food and all that. You could also get just about any Pokemon you wanted from the original lineups as a Pokemon for the top of your latte to put in the art on the foam. This place is super cute though. Everything here is so nice and well crafted, and it just looks amazing, so it's certainly worth trying once at least. Just understand, if you're going to go, you have to place a reservation online. And they pretty much always sell out of reservation spots, so make sure to do it in advance. Not sure if you can hear, but I'm in the Pokemon Cafe in Osaka. This one's actually really far away from the one in Tokyo, of course, because it's in a different part of the country. But you can get a reservation here a little bit easier than you can over in Tokyo. So if you are hankering to go and you're in Osaka or Kyoto, just take the train over and it's really easy to get to. It's in this huge mall. Most importantly, you get a Pikachu cutlery set when you're here. You get Oshibori, and you also get a free iPad to order your food on. The placemat was even like a little grass field, and on top of it was, of course, my Snorlax, rice and shrimp and salad, and I don't remember what these things were. I think it was just chicken and potatoes. But of course, there was also an Eevee plate that you could get, which somebody here did. The food was pretty average, but what was really cool was this dessert. We got this slowpoke parfait, and God, it was so cute, and it was actually pretty darn tasty too. But eventually, a Pikachu emerges from the kitchen and begins to dance around at the instruction of some lady. You can imagine everybody loses their mind at this part because, well, it's Pikachu. Just look at her bounce. So the instructor directs it to look here and there so that everybody can take pictures of it and get their chance. And it's a lot of fun. Eventually, she looked our way, and everybody just went crazy. It was so adorable. I wanted to hug this thing so bad. She even did this little dance for us, and I think my heart melted a little bit. Look at her ears. And then a bunch of people came up to touch the Pikachu? I don't know. You weren't allowed to hug her, so I made sure to take advantage and at least shake her hand. But when I came back to my table, my drink was ready, and in this glass that I actually wound up buying one of later on. And on top, inside of the foam, was a Gengar, one of my favorite Pokemon. But on the way out, there is so much stuff that you can buy, from folders and plushes to all the cutlery and dishes that you could get inside of the cafe. And if you want them, make sure to do it now, because if not, you'll pay a fortune online. Pikachu, Pikachu, Pikachu! Ooh, I choose you, Pikachu! There's so much awesome merch here. You have to come and check it out. But only do so if you have some spare money, because this place ain't cheap. But of course, it is so difficult to deny the charm of Pokemon, especially when it's presented so well. But we didn't come to Osaka specifically to eat mediocre Pokemon-themed food, because this place has so much better to offer, so let's go. We came here to see this guy, the Glico Running Man. But this is of course a smaller version of him. The one we were really here to see was this giant one in the middle of the famous Dotonbori, because we had arrived indeed. So I saw fit to take a picture with the Running Man, and so did this man evidently, because everybody loves looking into my camera. Hey, you ever been to Dotonbori? Well, me neither. But it's a pretty crazy place if you take a look around. There's just lights everywhere. Everything's flashy, everything's trying to sell you food, and you know what? It works, because I'm about to gorge myself and binge drink, so let's do that. Speaking of drink, we got to watch this drink fill up, which was really satisfying, so I filmed it. And now you get to watch. There's even like a head on the beer and it starts to foam over the glass. Asahi's so good. Can't up in time to know where that's going. And these guys are gonna watch it. Let me tell you something in case you didn't know. Okonomiyaki, they serve it to you on a table that is heated. And it's one of the best meals that you can get in Japan. And in case you didn't know, I'm an okonomiyaki boy. One thing about Dotonbori is all the awesome signs and everything everywhere. But I will warn you, if you're a person that gets anxious easily around a lot of people, this might not be the place for you, because there are people everywhere. It's about the same as walking around in New York, I'd say, especially because all the alleys are kind of narrow. There's a few wide open streets too, but if you're here, you gotta be brave, because it's time to brave the crowds and get some delicious food. If there's one thing that Osaka is famous for, it's takoyaki. Takoyaki and okonomiyaki, both things that end in yaki, and two things that I absolutely love. These molten little balls of octopus will melt in your mouth and melt off your tongue. So careful when you eat them, but enjoy, because they are truly a delicious treat for all. That's damn good. But besides that, you can go around and shop too. One thing in specific was this Taro-kun. I don't like this guy, he's scary, but for some reason he has a whole shop worth of goods here. He's sort of a mascot here in Osaka. Him and the Billiken, of course, which is inside of this car. I bought some souvenirs at this shop, but that wasn't what we were here for. It was time to find more food. And at a friend's recommendation, kushikatsu was the thing to get. And of course the night would not be done until we got kushikatsu, because why wouldn't we? You dip a bunch of delicious food in batter, fry it up, and dip it into a delicious sauce. So, if you're here, get what's good, and just enjoy.
I think that's what the guys next to us said. So we're making such good friends together.
Sit up.
Oh yeah.
That's tasty. If only you were here. Seriously though, you could get lost walking in circles in Dotonbori. There's so much to look at, and there's so much to do, and so much to eat and drink, but it was time to retire to the alleys, and basically the river area. There's little boats that go up and down here, but this place is so chill. There's this giant Ferris wheel around the Don Quixote sign, and it's just a nice place to be. All the signs really look so futuristic and cool. One thing I learned about while I was in Osaka was the Hanshin Tigers and their insane fan base, who I now love. These guys are essentially the eternal underdogs, but despite that, their fans love them. Though one year, in 1985, they had an MVP from America who was actually a state senator named Randy Bass. And with this star player, they were able to topple the Seibu Lions and win the 1985 Japan Series. This began the time-honored tradition of the Dotonbori dive. It was a huge deal, so everybody started freaking out and jumping off of the bridge in Dotonbori into the river. More than 5,000 people jumped into the river. Basically, if you looked like one of the players on the team, the likelihood was that you're jumping into the river. But without a white guy there to look like Randy, they didn't have anybody to jump in for him. So they instead took the Colonel Sanders statue from in front of KFC and threw that into the river in his place. Now, what they didn't know is that they were invoking the curse of Colonel Sanders, and they went on an 18-year losing streak. And yes, this is a real Japanese urban legend. They've been back to the Japan series about 3 times in recent years, and despite all of that, their fans are still crazy for them and support them wildly. In 2009, they finally found Colonel Sanders. They thought it was a dead body at first, but then some fans finally said, "No, that's the Colonel. The curse can be lifted." But he was missing his left hand and his glasses. And it was said that the only way that the curse could be lifted is for him to be completed. So eventually they gave him a new hand and some new glasses and shipped him back to KFC since the original store had closed. And this is why I love Osaka. And this is also why I'm now the biggest Hanshin Tigers fan. But it was getting late and I was getting tired, so it was time to start to retire for the night and just enjoy the sights and sounds before we got back on the Shinkansen to head home to Kyoto. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this leg of the adventure because I certainly did. I kind of wish we would have spent more time in Osaka because there's so much here to do. We didn't even go to the castle. So if you're going to Japan, I highly recommend Osaka. There's friendly people, delicious food, and awesome atmosphere. Make sure to watch the other videos in my Japan playlist as well because there's a lot of fun stuff I've done here in Japan. I'm gonna link some stuff on the screen for you to check out. Make sure to like the video if you did indeed enjoy it, and of course comment and tell me what thing you wanted to eat the most that I got. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and sayonara for now.